The woodlands of the Iberian Peninsula in Europe's southwest corner form one of the most extraordinary forests in the world. A complex ecosystem stretching across Spain and Portugal, these woods teem with wildness and life. For thousands of years, some of the most astonishing, endangered, and unusual animals on Earth have made this place their home. A habitat shaped by the region's proximity to Africa, these are some of the most diverse woodlands in the world. But this is also a savage land. Life here is hard. Every species must fight to survive. Now, with the climate changing faster than ever before, the future here is becoming more uncertain. In these ancient forests that have sustained existence for millennia, life now is always on the edge. The Iberian Peninsula in the southwest corner of Europe is one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth. Its climate and close proximity to Africa make it a unique and complex ecosystem and the gateway between the two continents. Here in southern Spain, one of Europe's preserved forests is found, the Cork Oak Natural Park in Andalusia. An ancient woodland of cork, holm, and gall oak trees, this is home to a diverse cast of animal species. Alongside the eagles, gennets, and foxes who populate these parts, lives an animal that reached Iberia nearly 3,000 years ago. The mongoose. Today, this particular family is hunting wild rabbits, an animal native to Iberia. The mongooses have located an underground rabbit warren that's been unoccupied for some time. They've also identified young rabbits not from the neighborhood who have strayed a little too far away from home. The rabbits sense danger. Whilst agile and fast, they must get underground if they are to be safe. But away from their own warren, this terrain is unfamiliar. And unknown to them, the mongooses are already one step ahead. Strategically positioned, the mongooses usher the rabbits into the abandoned warren, turning it into a trap. The mongooses move in to control all entrances and exits. Expert diggers, they work together to trap a rabbit inside a tunnel. As they dig into the earth, the scent of rabbit grows stronger. Excitement builds as they near their prey. With their attack primed, tension rises. One mistake will let the rabbits escape. At last, this mongoose has broken into a run and come away with a rabbit trapped inside. Whilst the mongoose is hunted as a team, only one rabbit has been caught. And today, the lucky hunter who came away with the prize has no intention of sharing. After waiting for the coast to clear, the remaining rabbits can emerge from underground. Today, they survived on instinct and luck. But they will have learned a valuable lesson about surviving in these woodlands. For all animals here, it's advisable never to stray too far away from home. The Iberian Peninsula is almost entirely surrounded by sea. To the north and west, it is the Atlantic Ocean. To the south and east, the Mediterranean Sea. Here, at Spain's southernmost tip, the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea meet to form the famous Strait of Gibraltar. 13 kilometers of water is all that separates Africa and Europe. Each year, over 100,000 ships cross the strait. But ships are not the only ones making the crossing. In late February, the migration of gliding birds begins. Having spent winter in Africa, these birds are now returning to Europe to breed. But crossing the Strait of Gibraltar is demanding, and only the strongest of birds will make it to Europe alive. With the Spanish shoreline tantalizingly close, this black kite is almost there. But its strength is reaching its limit. The lack of thermal currents and the strait's powerful winds are the biggest obstacles. And waiting for it in Spain, yellow-legged gulls, notoriously aggressive, territorial, and brave. Also making the crossing from Africa to Europe, a short-toed eagle accompanies the black kite. Seagulls are specialists in aerial combat. Their attacks are well calculated, aimed to bring down the intruding enemy bird. If the black kite is downed, it's unlikely to survive in the water. Lacking waterproof feathers, it will almost certainly catch hypothermia and drown. Across the migratory season, black kites will wash up on the shoreline of Spain. For those birds who've crossed the strait for years, this has been their final attempt at migration. Fortunately, Most migrating kites do make it to shore alive. For our plucky explorer, his crossing to Europe has been successful. He joins some of the other black kites who've also crossed the strait this year. But this is just a stopover, for he has travelled to Europe to breed in the same forest in which he was born. For now, rest and recuperation are in order. He must hydrate and preen his plumage so as to continue his migration in due course. In time, he will use the stars, the sun, and the Earth's magnetism to navigate back home to his birth forest. Once there, he will take possession of a territory and await the arrival of a female. In Iberia's woodlands, the spring rains are one of the great gifts of the year. Replenishing the soils after months of summer drought and frozen winter, they allow plants to bloom and life to awaken. And some have been waiting for this moment for a very long time indeed. Common toads. With the arrival of the spring rains, toads emerge from hibernation and race in great numbers towards their breeding grounds. Amongst the first creatures on Earth to live on dry land, common toads in fact live away from water most of the year. But when breeding, they seek it out, and the more, the better. When mating, male toads clutch to potential mates from behind in a grip that is known as amplexus. A male who has found a potential mate can remain enthusiastically piggybacking in this way for several days. Of course, it means the legwork of finding the perfect spot to breed falls to the females. Fast-running rapids are not ideal. This female toad knows she must reach calmer waters before laying the eggs she carries within. Searching for the perfect spot can take several days. For the female here, it's strenuous work. Despite the slips and bumps, the male's ride has been relatively comfortable in comparison. But as velocity increases, as they travel downstream, perhaps any quiet place will do. Sun and water are the engine of life. And thanks to the rains, longer daylight hours and rising temperatures, there is, at this time of the year, an explosion of life in Iberia's woodlands. As seeds germinate, the blossoming flowers and plants dress the meadows in color and perfume. Finally, spring has arrived. With the fields in bloom, millions of insects appear. From butterflies and caterpillars to pollinators such as bees, each insect plays an integral role in maintaining the forest's ecosystem and biodiversity. But insects do not merely help pollinate. They are also a source of food for thousands of chicks whose hatching is synchronized to coincide with this abundance of spring. And all animals take advantage of this time to start a new chapter in Iberia's woodlands. For spring is the season of birth, growth, and renewal for all creatures great and small. The sunlight and water of spring help sustain an extraordinarily diverse range of wildlife in Iberia. But the importance of insects in the ecosystem cannot be ignored. For they are the irreplaceable link in the transfer of energy and in the cycle of life. Hidden in this bush in Iberia's woodlands, there is an expert insect hunter, a master of camouflage. He is patient like a sniper and fast like a whip. With a tongue that can extend twice its body length and unfurl faster than a jet plane, the common chameleon is one of the most uniquely adapted hunters on the planet. Its secret weapon, a tongue laced with a honey-like adhesive to help bring in their prey. At this time of year, chameleons must eat as much as possible in preparation for mating season. This praying mantis is also a masterful and ambitious hunter, capable of capturing and devouring relatively huge prey. But she's an insect herself, and in this ecosystem, she's further down the food chain than the chameleon, who must take advantage of the good times while they last. After all, his chances of mating depend on being in physically tip-top shape. Here, a female chameleon is approached by a male whose coloration says he's ready to mate. However, she doesn't seem too receptive. Unperturbed, the male moves in closer to try his luck. But the female's body language suggests she does not want a suitor. In fact, her colors indicate that she's already pregnant. In no uncertain terms, she's telling this male to back off. Finally, the male seems to have understood the message. The female's livery and threats have produced the desired effect. The challenge of finding a partner in these parts is profound. However, despite his first rejection, This little male appears to have struck lucky on the rebound. He has found a female who's more receptive to his overtures than the last. This time, her coloration confirms she wants to mate. For both chameleons, the hours spent searching for a partner have not been in vain. They have contributed their genes in the hope of new life. "26 days after mating, and after searching to find an appropriate place, we find the pregnant female emaciated and fatigued, digging a gallery. The work is exhausting. She is late laying her eggs, and as a female in later life, this is likely her last opportunity to reproduce. Success. Chameleons lay between 9 and 24 eggs, taking up to an hour between laying the first and the last. Once all the eggs are laid, she buries them before sealing the door and leaving, never to return. Chameleons have lived in Iberia's woodlands for nearly 500 years. And whilst time is running out for this female, she has now done everything in her power to ensure the species will live on. In spring, the warming airs and lush vegetation of Iberia's woodlands make it an ideal habitat for newcomers recently arrived from Africa by air. These playful booted eagles have come to the forests to breed and to rear their recently born eaglets. Booted eagles are natural survivors, well adapted to harsh environments. Here, a breeding pair of parents are working together to tend to their newborn chicks. After hatching, chicks are confined to their nest for up to 75 days whilst fledgling. During this period, their mother guards the nest, while their father goes out hunting for food. Providing in this way is a huge responsibility. But this pair of eagles know what they are doing. They've been breeding in this forest for 15 years and have raised many other chicks before. Feeding mainly on small birds, mammals such as mice, and reptiles such as lizards, the booted eagle has one of the most varied diets amongst European raptors. However, something with these chicks appears to be going wrong. One brother is weaker than the other, so the mother only feeds the stronger chick, who demands all the food. The time has come for both parents to go out hunting, leaving the two little chicks in the nest on their own. However, with one brother growing weak, while the other gets ever stronger, an opportunity has arisen for a display of strength. Nearby, the mother watches, but doesn't intervene. It seems the strongest brother is no longer willing to share the nest. What seems cruel to us humans is normal in the animal kingdom. Chicks must be toughened up if they're to survive in these forests where life is never guaranteed. In this instance, the forest has witnessed a murder. In an act of fratricide, the stronger chick killed his weaker brother. Shocking to human sensibilities, this death, in fact, gives the species the best chance of surviving another generation in Iberia's woodlands. In the woodland sections of deciduous thicket, dead trees can be found scattered across the forest floor. And in this one, life breathes. A genet, perhaps the most beautiful creature in these forests. Originally indigenous to Africa, how gennets arrived in Iberia is something of a mystery. It's believed the Phoenicians introduced them here nearly 3,000 years ago, probably as mouse-hunting house pets. Today, gennets have colonized nearly every wooded habitat in Spain and are found all over the Iberian Peninsula, right up to the southwestern half of France. The success of the species' survival here has been due to its adaptability and its extraordinary senses, which are activated at their brilliant best at night. In the darkness of the night in Iberia's woodlands, gennets are like the forest's living shadows. And tonight this one is on the prowl, ready to hunt. She's drawn to a regular hunting ground, an old stone wall. Among these cracks and crevices, she knows there is likely an evening meal to be found. This hedgehog is something of a curiosity. But prickly and protected, it is hardly a suitable snack. Curiosity must not distract the genet from hunting, because now another competitor has entered the fray. Both the tawny owl and the genet have come here to hunt the same prey. Both predators, they are now in competition with one another as they scan and search the area for mice. While the owl waits patiently, the genet plays a bolder opening hand. Like a game of chess, they compete to get into the best position to attack. Venturing out in search of food, this mouse has broken the silence of the night. It is now the exclusive focus of both predators who track its every move. The genet has the best position, but she must be careful. If she makes any noise, the mouse will hide away. Patience is the best strategy for both the owl and the genet. For now, the owl must watch on from above and wait for the closer genet to make a mistake. Having disturbed the mouse, the genet throws caution to the wind. A sudden attack is now her only chance. Success. The genet has won the game. Out-competed, the tawny owl moves on. Tonight, the fate of the forest was kind. The spoils fell to the competitor most in need. For inside this fallen tree trunk, the genet has another mouth to feed. This cub was born 15 days ago, and on a cold night like this one, he urgently needs to receive body heat from his mother. Deprived of food and warmth while his mother has been hunting, the cub is now dangerously cold. Fortunately, she arrives back in time. In the next few weeks, this little cub will start following his mother out on hunts to learn the secrets to surviving in these forests. Then, in around 6 months' time, his mother will expel him from the territory and their relationship will end. But tonight, the maternal bond is sacrosanct. He is her helpless child, and she, his sole protector. There is a Spanish expression that says, "The forest has eyes." And in this instance, someone nearby has watched everything. A golden eagle. Not much escapes its extraordinary eyesight. Even at great distance, its penetrating eyes can detect the slightest movement on the ground. And as the most powerful predator in the Palearctic region, the golden eagle doesn't care about the size of its prey. Few animals are off limits. Even large ladder snakes are not exempt. As the ladder snake heads off to hunt another area, the golden eagle keeps it in his sight. Unlike eagles, snakes are not blessed with the greatest eyesight. In fact, the lateral positions of their eyes leave them vulnerable to attacks from the sky. Unable to see the eagle above, the ladder snake is oblivious to the danger it now finds itself in. It does not know that an attack is underway until it's too late. In Iberia's woodlands, death often begets new life. Not far away, another golden eagle is fixing a nest where lies her newborn eaglet. Once found all over the world, in recent years, the populations of golden eagles have experienced sharp declines. So this female eagle must protect the nest with extra special care. Happily, her partner arrives back with the ladder snake he's just caught. Today, their little eaglet will eat. In Iberia's woodlands, life is always on the edge. Even the golden eagle, with no natural predators, must fight to survive in these changing lands. Having paired for life, these two eagles now share responsibility in rearing their chick. Hunting for food and providing for him, they will work tirelessly together over the coming months. In approximately 70 days, their little eaglet will make his first solo flight. But until then, they will be fastidious guardians of their most precious prize. The Sierra Morena Mountains in the southwest of Spain are home to one of the most rare and endangered felines on the planet. Found in the region's bush forest thicket, where high numbers of rabbits offer quality refuge, this mysterious and majestic animal is perhaps the most beautiful wild cat in the world. The Iberian lynx. Less than 2 decades ago, the Iberian lynx was practically extinct. There were fewer than 100 left in the wild. Whilst their numbers are still dangerously small, conservation projects and breeding regimes have given this ancient species another lease of life. Thankfully, there are nearly 700 lynxes in Iberia today. Every sighting of an Iberian lynx in these woodlands is to be treasured. But the sight of this beautiful female with 2 cubs already weaned is something to behold. The Iberian lynx is a carnivore and eats mainly small mammals. That said, squirrel is not normally part of its diet. Nevertheless, this lynx looks to the squirrel with desire. But this squirrel seems to read her intentions quite clearly. because even as the lynx threatens to climb the tree, the squirrel remains unperturbed. Climbing a tree is not complicated for a master climber like the lynx. However, this isn't a hunting exercise. It's more an exhibition for the cubs. The lynx knows that the squirrel's agility and speed is too much for her. She will not exert energy on such a hopeless cause. And besides, her favorite prey isn't squirrel, it's rabbit. Fortunately, this territory is one of her favorite hunting grounds. Wild rabbits are crucial to the survival of Iberia's lynxes. Making up 70% of their diet, the availability of rabbits and the population of lynxes directly correlate. The lynx's behavior shows she is now in hunting mode. With strong, stealthy movements and a steely concentration, she focuses exclusively on her prey. Still, she must choose the right moment and pounce with precision, for rabbits can sense potential predators from very far away. Whilst their mother has been out hunting, these cubs, still very young, have been more preoccupied with the simple things of life. At the moment, their mother is in charge of feeding them, and whilst rabbit stocks are high, they can rely on her bringing them at least a rabbit a day. In due course, these cubs will grow up and become independent hunters themselves, hopefully continuing the lynx's renaissance in these woodlands. But for now, they will be protected, fed, and closely watched by their mother. Such precious treasure deserves the very best of care.